but is strictly following the disciplines enjoined in the Vedic scripture, if he is not a devotee, he also cannot understand Krishna. And even when one poses himself as a devotee of Krishna, but is not engaged in Krishna conscious activities, he also cannot understand Krishna. There are many persons who envy Krishna because he has explained in Bhagavad Gita that he is the supreme and that nothing is above him or equal to him. There are many persons who are envious of Krishna. Such persons should not be told of Bhagavad Gita, for they cannot understand. There is no possibility of faithless persons understanding Bhagavad Gita and Krishna. Without understanding Krishna from the authority of a pure devotee, one should not try to comment upon Bhagavad Gita. Om Agnanati Minandasya Gyananjana Salakaya Chakshurmitan Yena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manabhistam Stapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Sujita Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunatavitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Paryana Saitam Shri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shri Vishaka Vitamsya He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radhakanta Namastate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhano Sute Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhascha Kripa Sindhu Bhaivacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Sivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna. Thank you very much for joining. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, the words again. Idam te na atapaskaya na bhaktaya kalachana na cha shushrusave vakyam na cha mam yo bhya suyati. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those who are not austere or devoted or engaged in devotional service, nor to one who is envious of me. Yeah. So, Lord Krishna, we see in the previous section, in the conclusion, which is this chapter, he is explaining about the confidential knowledge, right? That we are not the body, we are the spirit soul. Aham Brahmasmi, Brahman. The more confidential knowledge is the Paramatma feature of the Supreme Lord, that the Lord is present in each and every living entity. And the most confidential knowledge, the Bhagavan feature of the Supreme Lord, where we see in previous verses, 1865, he says, Manmana Bhavamat Bhakta Madhyaji Mam Namaskaru, right? always think of me, right? Um, Become my devotee, offer obeisances to me, right? Right. So four things he mentions in that particular verse. Always think of me, become my devotee, worship me, and offer your homage or obeisances to me, right? And then in the next verse, he mentions about abandon all varieties of religion. Sarva dharman pratyajya mamekam sharanam raja. Right? Aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshasmi ma suchaha. Right? Abandon all varieties of religion and just surrender unto me. And you don't have to externally work on somehow getting rid of our sinful reactions. But if we just fully surrender to the Supreme Lord, the Lord takes care, wipes away our sinful reactions of the sinful activities which we have performed in the life. Right. And then comes this particular words, this section, that okay, now Krishna explains the full Bhagavad Gita till 66 verse. He explains the full Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna. But now what? Right. That the entire Bhagavad Gita is explained. What should be done with the jewels of transcendental knowledge just spoken by Krishna in up till 1866? Should we just lock it up in a closet, kept secretly, or distributed widely? Right? And if they should be distributed, who is qualified to receive them? What results comes to one who hears, studies, or preaches Krishna's message? Right. So in this particular verse, it is emphasized on who is not qualified to receive this message. Right. That this confidential knowledge may never be explained to these four kinds of people. Right. One who is not austere, or devoted, or engaged in devotional service, or envious of me. Right? Not austere, not devoted, not performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord, and envious of the Supreme Lord. To that four kinds of people, this confidential knowledge may never be explained. Right? May never be explained to them because they won't get it. Because they won't get it. They would think Krishna, oh, Krishna was there as a historical personality. But why I have to surrender to Krishna? Right? Why I have to surrender to Krishna? Or they have this demonic mentality to cash on Bhagavad Gita. So they'll become commentators on Bhagavad Gita without becoming a devotee of Krishna. Right? And that's why we have more than 500 different versions of commentaries from different people on Bhagavad Gita. A politician would write on Bhagavad Gita, a philosopher will write on Bhagavad Gita, right? A atheist has written on Bhagavad Gita and tried for explaining Bhagavad Gita without becoming devotee of the Supreme Lord. So those commentaries, those Bhagavad Gita will not transform us. That's why Srila Prabhupada termed this Bhagavad Gita as it is. What does it mean, Bhagavad Gita as it is? That the original meaning of what Lord Krishna wants to convey in this Bhagavad Gita is not changed. If Lord Krishna is mentioning Manmana Bhav Mad Bhakta, right, always think of me, become my devotee, right? Worship me and offer obeisances to me. When Krishna so clearly says that, and if a commentator tells, oh, don't think of Krishna, but think of that which is within Krishna, right? Don't think of Krishna, he's just a historical personality, but think of that which is within Krishna, because he wants to establish that, oh, okay, no, ultimately that which is within Krishna is Brahman. Ultimately, everything is Brahman. Uh, no, that Brahman has no form, nirguna, and today I don't know, no, but tomorrow I will also become that Brahman, right? Because he's envious of Krishna. He's just considering Krishna as a historical personality, right? That person is just considering Krishna as a historical personality and he's envious of Krishna. So he does not want to accept which Krishna completely clearly states here. Man mana bhav mad bhakta mad yaji vam namaskaru. Think of me, become my devotee. Right? He clearly says that. Everybody can mute, please. Yeah. He clearly states that. So that's Lord Krishna's position. So, four kinds of people who will not accept this. There is one who is not austere, who is not devoted, who has not become the devotee of the Lord, who does not perform devotional service, right? Who does not perform devotional service to the Lord. And one who is envious of him, right? Uh, because um, the conclusion of the Bhagavad Gita may not be explained to him. No, Mr. Prabhupada may not be explained to him. Right? Yeah, that's the words here. This confidential knowledge may never be explained to those, who are not austere or devoid, or devoted or engaged in devotional service. Now, devotees of the Lord, we see that at times, no, yes, if they are envious, we definitely we don't want to preach them the higher gospel, no, message of the Bhagavad Gita. They are envious, we just give them, okay, no, just take that take prasadam. Hopefully, their heart will purify where they come out of this envy for the Supreme Lord. Then they may understand, right? Then they may understand. So, that's about enviousness, who are not austere, right, or devoted. Uh, and at times, the devotees of the Supreme Lord make some concessions in that. Oh, now the recipient is not completely austere, but has shown some favorability. So we invite them that, oh, please come to our center. Oh, we have this Sunday program happening, Sunday Love Feast, where you will get prasadam. And there, some message of the from Bhagavad Gita is given to them. Right? Is given to them out of this causeless mercy of the devotees of the Supreme Lord. But Lord clear, it mentions this confidential knowledge may never be explained to those. Right? Because no, they will, they will not be able to completely understand it. And instead of understanding it, they will challenge, they will commit more offenses to the Supreme Lord. Right. Are there any questions till this point? Haribol. Discussion time. In summary, we talked about promise. Confidential knowledge, the more confidential knowledge, the most confidential knowledge, right? And how now in this section, Raman's Krishna is mentioning, okay, we have this, I mentioned throughout this Bhagavad Gita till the 66 words, so many pearls of wisdom. Now, what to do? Should we just lock it up or widely distribute it? And if we distribute it, to whom should we distribute it? Like that in itself uh, is these words. In these words, it is basically to whom it should not be distributed. Yeah. Okay, here, Sachirani Mataji. Yeah,
Hare
welcome.
Krishna Prabhu. Dandavat Pranam. All glories to Srila Prabhupada.
Prabhupada.
My question, Prabhu, was Mahaprabhu had said, right? Yare dekho tare dekho, Krishna Upadesh to everyone, he spread it. So then
Yes.
how does that tie in with this?
Yeah, Mahaprabhu is more merciful. That's why it's called Namo Mahavadanyaya. Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Padayate. Right. Mahaprabhu is more merciful and is taking Yare Dekho Tare Kaho Krishna Upadesh. But as preachers of serious preachers of Krishna consciousness, one has to discriminate uh, whom to give what. That's why we would see Srila Prabhupada when he has lectured, especially in public places, either in Rath Yatra or big pandal or this or that. Mostly he has given lecture, no meat eating, no illicit sex, no intoxication, no gambling. He didn't touch on the esoteric topics of either the Bhagavad Gita or Srimad Bhagavatam or Srimati Radharani. He never talked about it so much in depth. Right. So this confidential knowledge should not be given, but no, it's the basic knowledge is shared that you are not this body, you are the soul. Right? You are not this body, you are the soul, and come out of this sense gratification. Right? This basic knowledge is shared. Does that answer your question, Mathan?
Yes, Prabhu. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, please accept my humble
Is it
obeisance. All
Prabhupada?
goes to Srila Prabhupada. So, Prabhu, so
Yes.
fine, you can understand this, keep it only general topic. Don't discuss anything deep. But when we go for book distribution, no,
Yeah.
we freely distribute, including Bhagavad Gita, to a public whom we have no idea what their background will be. Of course, people are sometimes receptive, respectful, and if they don't want, they don't want. But
Yeah.
even if a person who takes, let's say, Bhagavad Gita, he could be a Mayavad just trying to figure out ki kya hai. You know, let's see what the other party is saying.
Yeah.
Then in that case, how do we reconcile with this
Yeah.
instruction of Krishna?
Devotees are, as I mentioned, they're more merciful. Where they now this just like we see Lord Nityananda when he's distributing the holy name, he's distributing to each and every one. He's even going to these debauchees, Jagai and Madai, who are completely intoxicated, ready to hit him, right? Ready to hit him. But then also, he is ready to take that risk and distribute the love of God, right? So similarly, the devotees of the Supreme Lord, when they are distributing Bhagavad Gita, despite them not completely knowing the audience, they are distributing with the risk that at least one person will take Bhagavad Gita seriously from that and will become a devotee of the Lord. Right? And we see that. The results show that. Now there are those who are envious of Krishna also. We see that where I remember distributing Bhagavad Gita. Somebody had sponsored and they mentioned, oh, just freely distribute Bhagavad Gita. And they were freely giving that out, free, in Niyakala Theatra and to those who are passing by. And soon, many of those Bhagavad Gita were landing up in the garbage containers. And there was a crew, then we had to recruit of devotees who just have to get those Bhagavad Gita from the garbage containers. Right. So, there will be envious people. So, if we come across, when we are distributing Bhagavad Gita from a bookstall, and we come across somebody, is coming in a challenging mood, and sarcastically mocking, we should chant Hare Krishna and let them go. They have some prasadam, just give them some prasadam, but not try to reach to them. Right? So, in those situations when we have an opportunity, we should not try to preach to them. Because they will challenge and they will mock and they will, unless they commit more offenses. And I'm sure, when we've gone out for preaching, we'll come across these people. Either door to door, somebody will bang the door on us, somebody will invite us inside. Yeah, so those who are banging the door on us, we don't have to again knock and no, please take, please take, no, please take. Right? Like in this particular verse, Prabhupada is mentioning, those who do not tend to the devotees. Tend to the devotees means they do not serve the devotees. They have no respect for the devotees. They mock the devotees. Right. The devotees, they're quite out of their humility and tolerance, they accept it. But Krishna, just like Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda Prabhu, is ready to accept the abuses of Jagai and Madai. But Mahaprabhu, as soon as he hears that is devotee, his first expansion, Lord Nityananda, his abuse is even bitten by earthen pot, immediately invokes Sudarshan Chakra. Yeah. So that's Krishna's position. The devotee's position is, he just serves to whoever he meets, he serves. And that's why this comes, Yara Deko Tareko, Krishna Upadesh. Yeah. Yeah. That's all right?
Yeah, Prabhu. Thank you.
Okay. There's also a question on the chat which has come as a message. Does past life karmas gets cleared for devotees? Even the past life, means when Krishna is mentioning Sarva Dharman Parityaja Mamekam Shanam Raja, one who surrenders to the Supreme Lord, prarabdha or aprarabdha karma, manifest or unmanifested karma, are all cleared off. All sinful reactions are cleared off. So the answer is yes, past life karma is also cleared off of devotees. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. When one chants the holy name of the Lord sincerely, just imagine it's mentioned that one chants the holy name of the Lord one time sincerely. The amount of sinful reactions it eradicates, we won't be able to even be able to think of committing that many sinful reactions. That much amount of sinful reactions gets eradicated by chanting the holy name only once, purely. Yeah. So, what to speak of a devotee of the Lord who is completely surrendered to the Supreme Lord. Right? Yeah. I hope that answers the question. Any further discussion? Mm, yeah. A follow-up to that is, how would we know that Krishna has accepted our surrender? Yeah. Mm. Yeah, so in the present day, now, how would we know that Krishna has accepted our surrender? So Krishna sends his via media as a spiritual master. So when we fully take shelter of Guru and Krishna, right, we will see the transformation happening within us, even in the sadhaka stage, where we'll be able to understand that Krishna has accepted our surrender. Where now he will allow us to be engaged in his unalloyed service. He will show his mercy by showing us that his via media, the spiritual master, is pleased. Right? Because when the spiritual master is pleased, just like we have a representative of a government, when the representative of the government is pleased, the supreme government is also pleased. Right? So when the spiritual master is pleased, the Lord is pleased. Right? That's how we know that he has accepted our surrender. He will engage us fully. Now, more your mind is focused on Satatam Kirtan Tamam. Right? A person, when he's fully surrendered, what would be he focus of? Fully performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord. Right? So now, who is capable of fully performing devotional service to the Supreme Lord? One who has fully taken shelter of the Supreme Lord would be capable. And without any obstacles, or even when obstacles come, he is fully focused on serving the Supreme Lord. Right. So we see that where does that energy come from? The Supreme Lord. Krishna Shakti Vina Nahi Tara Pravartan. That energy is given by the Supreme Lord to that devotee who takes full shelter. of the Supreme Lord. Right? So there are different symptoms which manifest, which shows us that okay, we took a step forward to fully surrender to the Supreme Lord. The Lord is completely pleased and He has accepted it. Yeah. Okay. Good. Thank you. Okay. Any other?
Haribol Prabhu.
Yes, Mother.
I know this is a little off topic, but it's about chanting beads. So we have our initiated beads, right?
Yeah.
So which our Guru Maharaj has chanted while we took initiation and gave it to us. So what is the process of sharing it with one other initiated devotees? And two is, I think, non-initiated devotees, I think you shouldn't do it. But let's say if there's a choice between them not chanting at all and them chanting on your bead, what is the correct procedure?
Well, we should have some other stock of chanting beads where we want someone to chant. We give them that bead, not that we give our initiation beads to somebody to chant on. Right? We keep a stock of some spare beads. That okay, if somebody also wants to chant when we are chanting, okay, chant on this bead. Right? And that's where in most of many temples there is some spare basket filled with beads which are given to them. As far as sharing our initiated beads is concerned, now one should be careful. One should be careful. The spiritual master has chanted on that particular bead to give it to us. Right?
Yeah.
So from that angle, one should be careful.
So not even to other initiated
Yeah.
or god sister or god brother.
Yeah, in general, wherever are their beads, right? Unless some dire situation happens, but otherwise, no. The beads are private.
Okay. Got it. Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah.
I've heard that, I think it's Prabhupada or Jayadvaita Swami, I'm not sure. He said that you are initiated, not the beads. Like suppose your beads break or whatever, then the new beads that you get, it's not necessary that the spiritual master has to chant on these beads again.
Yeah.
And there was that pastime, I think, and it was instruction is that you are initiated, not the beads.
Yeah. But no, still, that instruction is in reference to not about sharing the beads. That instruction is in reference to that. Now, once the spiritual master has given you the bead, right? He has chanted on it and he has given you that bead to chant on. Whatever beads which you chant on henceforth, right? Not that, just as you mentioned, and that's a practical. No, I had asked my spiritual master one time to chant on the bead, no, another bead, because my initiation bead had broken. And he said, no, I don't have to chant again. You just take another bead and it's assumed that I already chanted on it. It is assumed that I have already chanted on it. Right. So, from that angle, but no, at the same time, keeping that bead which is with us. Now, certain things are not to be shared. Okay, now in between five of us, we go out. We carry only one bead bag. For initially I chant, and then you chant on that beat, and then third person chants, and fourth person chants. No, it should not be like that. Everybody carries his own bead. Right? Everybody carries their own bead. That should be the general guidance as far as no, beads are personal. So that's the general guidance on that.
Okay, Prabhu. Thanks.
Thank you. Yeah. Any other discussion? Anybody will like to add something? The realization, this is a very important part. It's like after hearing that four kinds of people whom this confidential knowledge may not be shared. Ultimately, we'll see in this particular section, subsequent verses talking about. It's like the position of a person who preaches this gospel, where it's mentioned that, okay, he's the most dear to me. Nachatasman Manushya Priya, he's the most dear to me. Right? So in subsequent verse we'll see that. Yeah. 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 Mm. Any other discussion? Okay. We'll end here then. Thank you very much. Any other message? Have to share now. Okay. Vancha kalpatarubhascha kripa sindhu patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. वैष्णविंद की जय,
Jai.
श्रीमद् भागवत गीता की जय,
Jai.
गौर प्रेमानंदे.
Hari Hari Bol.
Thank you very much. As you all know, this weekend on Sunday morning 8 to 9, Her Grace Urmila Mataji is going to give class on Narsingha Katha. Please join on our weekend channel on Zoom 8 to 9 in the morning on Sunday. Her Grace Urmila Mataji, senior disciple of our founder Acharya Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, is going to give the class on Narsingha Katha. Then Sunday evening, we have Kirtan by His Grace Badahari Prabhu, who is a wonderful, melodious Kirtaniya devotee, disciple of, again, our founder Acharya Divine Grace Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada from Alachua is coming, and he will be with us doing Kirtan, and then class will be given by His Grace Dwarkadish Prabhu and Vishakha Mataji, coming from Mumbai Chapati. They are also doctors in the Bhaktivedanta Hospital at Mira Road. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Anything else, Simesha Prabhu? No, he's busy. Okay. Hare Krishna.
Hare Bol. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, everybody.
Okay.